welcome to my first ever live webinar. I'm Mr. Raw, also known as Stefan Abelson, and yeah, I'm doing this because I've been very short about me. Maybe you read about my profile, but I'm a serial entrepreneur, 46 years old. I built 15 startups, 5 exits, 2 bankruptcies, and the past 10 years I've been spending 1/3 of my life being a mentor for mainly startup founders, but also founders and salespeople for that matter, and a couple of CMOs around the block. And I realize being on this journey throughout my life and working with all my clients and mentees that where it all begins is simply in your mind. And that's being a founder. 99% of what you do is all about your mindset. And that's why I'm going to talk to you about what I refer to as the raw mindset. And let me just get you through what we're going to talk about, because it's three simple. Of course, it's simple because it's raw. It has to be raw because then it's easy to implement in your life. And first, we're going to talk a little about what is a raw mindset. And then I'm going to present to you the more comforting raw zone model. You probably know it as the comfort zone, but I'll show you. And lastly, I will like to give you a little hint of how you actually get real shit done. And because so it begins, why is that so important to get shit done? Well, first of all, what is the right mindset to being a founder or someone who wants to achieve something greater? Take me as an example. This is me. Oh my God, I don't know, 38 years ago or what it is. I was a little smiling boy. I'm still a smiling boy, and that's why I smile. I don't know how to do else. But I've always been thinking, why don't we just do stuff? Because maybe you learn it yourself. When you do stuff, you actually get stuff done. So the largest part of this is actually the procrastination time for you doing it, worrying about it, thinking about it, than actually doing it. Because in most cases, when you do something, you don't know the results of what you're actually going to do. And that makes you a little bit more cautious about getting started, because you don't know the end result. But the point is also, you will never get to know the end result if you don't get started. And to give you a very good example on that is this live webinar, which I announced here a couple of weeks ago. And I will admit, this morning when I woke up, I was thinking, oh my God, now I'm going to talk about the raw mindset. I'm afraid. Should I cancel, or what should I do? And then I reminded myself, what are you doing? What are you doing? And that's the whole thing. What is the real problem? Who is the problem? And I will tell you who is the problem in your company. That is you. And that's why you need to, I would say, let go and start thinking about, who are you? Why are you doing what you're doing? And most importantly, why are you not doing it? Because the faster we move, meaning the more activities we actually do, the further we get. And for me, as Mr. Raw at least, that only makes one thing clear, is that do it. Just do it. And there are, of course, so many reasons why we're not doing it. But the raw mindset is all about being honest, being direct, and doing activities going forward. And the honesty part is probably the hardest part, because what most of us have in our life, and also the reason why I was anxious this morning and felt it in my belly, is that I'm afraid to fail. And why am I afraid to fail? Well, because you're looking at this, and I don't want to fail. I don't want to fail you. I want to inspire you. I want to make sure that you yourself get yourself a raw mindset. And just because you have a raw mindset doesn't mean that you are fluking and and fail still, because that's probably the biggest thing. Failure. Everybody's talking about failure, especially in startups. And I would say finally there are more and more and more people around the globe, influencers and alike, that are shouting out with, it's beautiful to fail. Because every time you fail, you move forward. And moving forward, it's much better standing still, because by standing still, you allow your competition to move forward in front of you. And why even bother? Why even bother the competition to stand next to you? Because especially because you're a founder of perhaps a smaller organization, you are more agile. And the more you try, the more you will fail, but the more you will also win. And it's a numbers game. So some people call it luck. I don't believe in luck. I believe in trying in enough times. And of course, one or two of the activities I tend to go through with and have luck with. Well, if you look at them separately, yes, then I was goddamn lucky. But nobody just actually knew that I was trying the same achievement 100 times before. So don't worry, you are not alone when it goes to being afraid of failing. But it's also a habit, because it's very, very dangerous to try out a new thing for the first time. But the more you do that thing, the more habitual, the more normal it gets for you to do. And that goes the same for trying. The more you try, the more you get used to that it's okay to fail. And the part of failure is coping with the failure after you failed. And by allowing this emotion of failure come to you enough times, then you learn to live with it. It's like in Denmark anyway, we start very, very early, but it goes for most people in the world. First time they try a beer, and it tastes like shit. It really tastes like shit. When you don't drink beer, it really, really tastes like shit. But the more you taste it, the more you adapt yourself to actually like and perhaps even prefer that taste above all other things. And it's the same game here. The more you try, the more used you get to try, and much more will you actually achieve going forward in your life. So why stop yourself? And stopping yourself is a quite interesting part of life. There are several models. Maybe you already searched around on many of the um, models that are out there, theories. One I stumbled upon many times is all about people being comfortable, because we all like to being comfortable. And in this model, it's called the comfort zone, and that's where you feel safe and you're in control. And it's the best place to be. I agree, fully agree. But I also reckon and realize that when you are in your comfort zone, you're not moving anywhere. You are standing still. And of course, it's safe and nice momentarily, but you don't move anywhere new. And what I've learned by trying and failing and winning so many times in life, that the more you actually get out of your comfort zone and try new stuff, well, your perspective, your universe, your capability, your your feeling of achievement becomes much higher when it is that you are jumping out of your comfort zone, because it's literally a mindset problem, if you ask me. And what happens when you jump out of your comfort zone? There are several steps before you start feeling some good stuff inside of you, because the first thing that happens is you jump into the fear zone. And the fear zone is where you are on uncharted territory. And what you actually usually, as I did this morning, what you're trying to do is to find excuses for yourself to jump into your comfort zone. And but this is actually one of the places where you're capable, where you have the possibility to start extending your comfort zone into more stuff, because the more you learn that it's not dangerous to live in fear. And of course, I'm not talking about jumping off a building, but I'm talking about daily operations, daily decisions, whether it's both private or professionally. Uh, it's just always frightening. And that, of course, gives you a lack of self confidence. Now, what you really want to do uh, in order to get out of your fear is to start feeling safe in this new moment, or in this new topic, or in this new decision process. And that's where you go out and learn. This is out where you go out and discover. You go out and find out, okay, so how do I deal with this? How do I find this problem and make it into something that actually works? And many times you realize that you need to acquire new skills, and suddenly it actually gets much more motivating to do, because you are acquiring new skills in order to achieve something, a challenge, or solve a problem. And yeah, that simply makes it much more interesting. You probably been there, for instance, when you were in school or in university, but it goes throughout all life. In order to improve, you need to learn, and in order to need to learn, get the understanding of why you need to learn. Well, you need some accountability. You need some accountability towards yourself, and that is by going to focus on the challenges and problems that you need to solve. Because now what you actually are creating is a purpose for yourself to improve yourself. And when you finally have come into that zone, you realize you most likely already been there, but the beauty of it's amazing being there. You dig in, you solve problems, you learn more, you get more perspectives, and this is where you can go in and make a choice, because you now proven to yourself that you can find yourself a purpose to acquire new skills. You have found a purpose in order to get out of your comfort zone, leaving the fear zone, and coming into a situation where you are growing. And the growth zone is where you continuously live in your learning zone, meaning because the more you do it, you wake up in the morning and you I'm looking forward to achieving this. I'm looking forward to achieving this, doing getting this stuff done, challenging that problem, and solve the things that you are in trouble with. And then suddenly your whole mindset changes, because now it's going to get exciting, because you have now learned that every time you actually solve a problem, you move on. And now problem solving doesn't become dangerous, as you have had in your fear zone. Anyway, this is definitely a model that has been used by many people. Actually, it's a 100-year-old theory, but really got into the psychology part 20 years ago. Some guy called White. You can read much more about it. But I was looking at the model and I was like thinking, there's something wrong, because when you are in the growth zone, then you conquer objectives, you set new goals, you even start living your dreams, and you attain the possibility to actually find the real purpose for why you're doing things. Why? Because you have learned enough to understand where you are and what you want to achieve and where you're heading for. You have left the fear zone, not being fearful of what happens, and of course, suddenly your growth zone can actually become your comfort zone. And that's what I think is missing in this model, because what happens when your growth zone becomes your comfort zone? And well, you guessed it right. You start living in your purpose because you found it. You are living in your purpose. You know what direction you are going for. You are living out your dreams, and when you live out your dreams, I guarantee you are feeling genuine joy, and that allows you, because now the fear has actually gone. It comes back sometimes, don't worry, but you can pass it away because you have now tried so many other times that you can pass the fear, and you can jump out of these dangerous zones and jump into where it's really fun to live. Because it is fun to evolve yourself. It is fun to learn new things. It is fun achieving more things that you could even imagine before. So the way to get into the raw mindset is, first of all, get out of your comfort zone. Go in and say hello to fear. Go in and feel what happens when you get this fear. And more importantly, try and solve that. And the way to solve it, you go to the learning zone. When you started learning and that learning is nice, you go into the growth zone. And when you have adapted yourself to being in that growth zone, you become raw. So, I may admit that I am a crazy entrepreneur, and I didn't get the diagnosis or anything, but ADHD seemed to be a pretty normal thing apparently in 2024. And coping with a lot of thoughts. You don't need to have ADHD, don't worry. I'm not even saying I have it, but either way, we have a lot of thoughts, and we have a lot of challenges. And the easiest way for me personally to actually cope with realizing what are all my thoughts about is doing a little exercise. And that little exercise is quite simple. First of all, take a piece of paper and grab yourself a pen. Close your eyes, get yourself ready, and then, first task you do, don't think too much about it, but make it top of your head. What are the 10 things that I need to get done yesterday? What is actually burning? What are all the fears I have in regards to all the things I'm not achieving? So 10 things, write the 10 things down. Don't think too much, just write them down. Continue to write them down and get the 10 done. After that, do something for yourself. Say, yeah, that was cool. Maybe take a sip of your coffee. That's my trick. And because then I have completed a task, and I give myself a gift of achieving my task. I'm like a dog. We are like dogs. if we get a little treat, we are good people, right? So now you have 10 things written down on a piece of paper. What do? What you do now is that you mark up the 5 most important things, and that's pretty obvious when you have made the list of 10, because at some point you realize, no, that's not that important, but you write it down anyway. But in the process, you realize it's these 5 things that are most important. Now, 5 things are pretty hard to comprehend, at least for a guy like me. So what I need to do in order to start executing is that I simply pick up the 3 most important things and I start grinding now. Just make them done. And the fun part is when I do this process, I'm still impressed of the results, because what literally happens is that those 3 most important things are obviously those things that you have reflected and thought about when you were dreaming and all these things on how to solve. So when you actually start performing these tasks, for me, it usually takes maximum 20 minutes. And I thought it would have taken, every time I thought it would have taken 10 hours, but after 10, 15, 20 minutes, I'm done. And that's a huge achievement. Now you have actually solved the 3 most important things. Now you can do the list again, or you can wait till the next day, because new stuff always come up, of course, and the world changes and all these things. But this is what I do every morning. I wake up before I get before I get to work. I make this list, 10 things, mark up the 5 most important things, and then I get to do those 3 things that are most important. And that means suddenly I have the rest of the day in order to start learning more, connecting more, speaking more with people without having in mind all those things I didn't do. So that's the way Mr. Raw does it. So if I have to wrap up, it's amazing to fail. So ask yourself, why are you procrastinating? Number 2, be raw. Step out of your comfort zone. It's not dangerous. It feels dangerous. It's not. It's amazing. And 3, be more raw. And what do I mean with that? Well, simply, the more you do, the more you progress. And that's why when I've built all my many companies, I always achieve success with the bringing in revenue and creating commercial success, because I did stuff, and that's the whole key. And if you may have heard many of my videos and stuff like that, I always say the most important thing is to start talking to your clients. In this case, talk to 3 clients a day. Begin your day with this, because as soon as you know why you are doing what you're doing, and the reason why you're doing it is because then you have some customers who are willing to pay some money for what you are delivering. If you find out their why, you find out your why, and you find out your purpose of what you're doing. So that's the raw mindset. Stop being afraid. It's okay. And this, just to put it out, because it's free. Now you can go out and do whatever you want, and actually be more raw by achieving more things, and letting you know it's not dangerous. The more you do, the more acquainted you get with it, and the more you get stuff done. And that's why I'm launching this course I call Raw Excellence, which is you have 6 weeks with me, where we go through, of course, we go through the raw mindset again, so we can discuss on how we get out of our own way. And then we begin on the journey on finding out how do we commercialize in the best manner. And here I'm talking about your brand, I'm talking about your revenue, I'm talking about your marketing, I'm talking about your staff, I'm talking about how you are, what you do, and all these things being a founder on the commercial side, because mostly founders have the product side of business going pretty well. But in my mind, you need to focus 50% on your customers and 50% internally. And many times, in order to achieve that, you may need some cash along the road in order to achieve even more. And I've been a fundraising coach for many years now, and that's why one of the topics in the course is how do you fundraise the raw way. I have perfected the way to fundraise, especially for B2B SaaS companies. And by doing that, I have come into a position now that I'm also helping other fundraising consultants in order to improve their business. And it's pretty clear to me, those who are using that raw model that I'm talking about, which I will teach you in my course, works. And you will learn why as well. So all ends up with the best raw practices. We are meeting once a week, all of us as a group, and that's why it's max 5 people who can join the course. It's also the first time, so this is the first course with Mr. Raw. So if you want to join me and support the journey, and more importantly, support yourself even more, then you can consider this. But I'm only taking in 5 people because I know myself, this is the first time, and this is also one of the reasons why it's so cheap, as I, of course, also need to perfect myself. I'm still in the learning zone in regards to doing webinars and doing courses. So that's all I had to say today. It's Friday, and I'm looking forward to the weekend, and I'm wishing you a fantastic day. Stay raw.